Julian Smith here to speak us.
Good night to all of you.
Good night.
It's a very exciting night. I must say, usually when you get small groups, this represents the more serious persons. So for me, I think my task is very simple. It was a very good introduction. My association in the health industry came directly from a passion to actually help people. And as you walk throughout the streets of the Providence, and you come in contact with the many persons who are suffering from so many debilitating diseases, for me, my heart goes out to them. And to see a lot of pharmaceutical medicine not being able to reverse any of the debilitating diseases, that to me was a burden on my heart. Usually, when I come in settings associated with the church, I like to always leave a few nuggets for thought and to stimulate your thinking. Our health basically starts with our mindset. I always tell people, you are as healthy as you think you are. And you can begin to change every aspect of your life by actually making that decision. Health begins with the willing to want to be healthy. A lot of people talk about health, they talk about their weight, they talk about all these other stuff. But when the discipline kicks in, here is where the rubber meets the road. And I always tell people, the gap between thought and accomplishment is actually discipline. You can change every aspect of your life by just making a decision. All truth, I say, is confrontational. And the prerequisite for belief is actually unbelief. And so a lot of times when I get skeptics and persons coming and having this uncertainty, I get excited. Because I know when they would have already been won, that is a person that truly believes. I always tell persons that I believe that one of our greatest assets, personally, and in my own personal life, is really our ability to hear the voice of God. Whatever dominates your thinking will determine not your capacity, but actually there are so many ahead all day. And I think one of our challenges is not actually hearing the voice. Because Jesus says, my sheep know my voice. I think one of our challenges is actually recognizing that voice. And so we have to look at what is dominating our thinking every day. What are we thinking about? Because whatever we consume with our thought life, that will control really our ability to hear that voice of God. I always tell my folks that application is the evidence of learning. You have truly learned what you have applied. All the rest is just information. Too often than not, we got a lot of persons that are just walking libraries. In other words, they got a lot of information, no application. How many times we have said to ourselves, we know we should be doing that, or we know we could be doing that. We just ain't doing it, you know? So here we are, walking around with all this information, no application. It's better, I mean, it's better for you to not even have the information than to have it and don't apply it. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, you are always learning, but never coming to the truth of knowledge. In other words, you got a lot of information, but no application. And we have to take the information that we receive and to make sure that we understand it to the point where it is confrontational, we check it out, and once we know that it is authentic truth, then we apply it. Because anything other than that, you're basically just wasting your time. Learning is a progressive, it's a progressive thing. In other words, you are always learning. And never, ever graduate from the school of learning process. I always say to myself that, for me, when I speak with persons and stuff, I find that indecision and procrastination are full-time occupations. People know what they're supposed to do, but they just are fearful to decide to do it. I mean, the Bible warns us, they say, look, you be hot or cold. Why? If you're indecisive, which puts you in the category of lukewarm, you say, well, I will what? Spew you out of my mouth. Please decide. You know what I mean? And a lot of times we end up in that field of procrastination because of our fear of failure, or in some cases, we just refuse to decide. And indecision is deadly. It is better to decide and learn a lesson than to not decide at all and never knew that you could have actually achieved something. So I always encourage my persons, when you get this information, please apply it. Please make decisions that translate into positive choices. Newlife Vegetation Self-Food was founded on the Bible scripture of Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. And it says that God said, I give you every seed-bearing fruit for seed, for meat. And if you read Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, you would find that there is a specification for fruits that actually have seed in it. Now, why are we eating fruits without seed? It's a whole nother ball game. Because a lot of our fruits, vegetables, and a lot of the indigenous stuff that we eat every day has actually been manipulated. And man has designed a way to actually force grow a lot of these stuff. And what they do is they inject it with all kinds of chemicals and fertilizers, and everything is for speed, growth, production, marketing, and money. Nothing to do with your nutritional value. And so that's why when we go inside the food stores, we have to examine the fruits that we are getting. And I know a lot of times we like to go for these seedless stuff because, you know, a lot of it is basically, I think it boils down to a little bit of laziness. You know what I mean? We don't want to spit out those seeds. And that's those same grapes that say global grapes, that's the ones we need. Not the ones we want. We want the sweet ones, which have actually been injected with a degree of sucrose that actually tastes sweet. And so once the grape tastes sweet, that's the ones we think we need. That's the ones we think we want. And a lot of persons are finding out that they are eating these fruits and they're saying that my glucose level is still going up. Well, of course your glucose level will go up because you are eating sugar that's not natural. And the assimilation of that sugar cannot take a full chemical effect inside the body because that is an artificial ingredient that has actually made that fruit sweet. So we must examine the things that we buy in the food store. One of our goals is to try and educate our people so that they can make better choices, and so that when they go to the food store, they don't need to really shop for everything that looks pretty. Because sometimes you go for the prettiest bananas, you know what I mean? And most times those same pretty bananas are the bananas that never was exposed to good sunlight. They weren't exposed to the correct environment to cause them to grow. And then you would hear the minister say, you know, several few days ago, he said, "We are happy to announce that we have just purchased 2 new gas chambers." And guess what the gas chambers are for? It's for the ripening of the bananas. And we get excited about that. You know, they purchased 2 new gas chambers, you know, and we trying to eat that banana that has been forced ripe, and we're trying to get that mineral content out of it. It doesn't happen. You know what I mean? And a lot of the fruits and vegetables, they have been diminished. They have been diminished. And it's sad that we are not really going back to the garden like how we should. Actually, the beginning of the basis of our healing. When we start to say, look, we are going to start to grow some of the foods that we consume on a daily basis. And some of it is easy to grow. I mean, bananas and all the different sweet peppers and stuff. Actually, some of the local people growing it right around here. So I think we need to start focusing on starting to see what we can do for ourselves as far as feeding ourselves. You know, because it's a pity that more than 95% of all of the food we consume is imported. 85% of that has export only. In other words, you cannot consume that in the U.S. because if you do, then it doesn't fall under the regulations. In other words, if you get sick, you can't sue them. But our challenge is we've been so used to junk until we ain't know no better. Eating all this bad food until we do not know any better. Newlife is also founded on the African bio-mineral balance, which states that the body is carbon-based. The body is also electric. And a live body needs live food to actually function. It is interesting how we want to have a body that is energized. We want to have a body that's actually live, but we want to calculate the fact that we can give that live body their food and expect it to get energy. It is impossible to give a live body that's actually electric and it's also carbon-based dead food and expect to have energy. No wonder why we feel so lethargic. No wonder why we feel so low energy and all this stuff. All of the starch and glucose and stuff we consume. I mean, if you basically just look at the Bahamian diet, what we got? Cheese and rice, starch, macaroni,
Potato salad.
Oh, potato salad. Oh my God. Starch.
Chicken and pork.
I don't even get on the meat side. The meat side just slows us down. I mean, we just had one of our famous actors. They say he died several months ago. Was John Wayne. And one of the challenging things was John Wayne died with 40 pounds of fecal matter inside of him. And I was like, hold on. A multi-millionaire, couldn't get nobody to send him to the bathroom. What? 40 pounds. You know, that is actually a live child inside of him. And he died with 40 pounds of fecal matter inside of him. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, with all those millions of dollars, nobody could have sent you to the bathroom. You could have come to us and left. Yeah. So, you know, and we have to be careful with the foods we consume. I'm going to give you guys a list of some of them, and especially cassava. Oh Lord, please stay with cassava. Cassava is loaded with starch. Loaded. Matter of fact, the old people used to take the cassava, cut it up, put it in the bowl, and you can actually take the water from that and iron your clothes and it's stand up your pants. So you can imagine that amount of starch inside the cassava. If that can do that to your pants, what that can do to your body? Why do you think people just get all these stroke and all these funny stuff? You know? And then they come back with the carrots. The carrot that we eat is actually a hybrid. The real carrot is actually the queen ant lace. Now, this information, you can research it, it's on the internet, it's on the website. The queen ant lace is actually a wild carrot. It's actually either white or purple. If you were to go to Sandals and you were to carry an orange carrot there, those German folks will run you out of there. They won't eat it. They won't eat it. And that carrot is actually bitter. What mine has done is they took that orange carrot, that purple and white carrot, and they took it in their lab and they genetically modified it. They put starch as a binder and they give it to us. And it tastes sweet, that's why we like it. You know what I mean? Because the challenge is a lot of foods have been manipulated in so much different ways until they got to put all kinds of things back in it just to make it taste good. And one of the challenges is, in a lot of the foods, they use sugar as a base. I don't know why. They always use sugar. Why? Because the food is so depleted. I mean, of the mineral content, of all the natural ingredients, that when you eat it, sometimes it has no taste. And so, a lot of times people put sugar in it, like, they make coleslaw, you throw that sugar inside, put a little honey, whatever they put inside it. And all the different foods, even with our meats and stuff like that. I mean, they put sugar, all this stuff, all these spices and stuff. And really, what we are trying to do is to actually trick our taste buds. Because I always tell people, when you eat food, the stomach looks for one thing: nutritional value. If there was no nutritional value in what you just ate, it was an exercise in waste. In other words, what you did was you actually appeased your taste buds, and then when the food reaches down to your stomach, and your stomach is actually looking for all these vitamins and minerals to try and feed these organs, there's nothing there. You know what I mean? And so we get in the Bahamas what you call niggeritis. Why? Because here you are eating all this food with no energy, no mineral content, nothing. So now the blood that's supposed to keep you alert actually rushes to the stomach to try and deal with all this food. Now this food process was supposed to take anywhere from 2 to 3 hours if you ate the right food to break down. Wouldn't be no problem. Now the food we eat takes 6, 8, 10 hours. And I ain't talking about steak and meat. You talking days with steak and meat. So that energy level now that's supposed to keep our brain alert goes to the stomach and try to deal with all that food. And we get sleepy. Because the brain kind of working on those two things at the same time. One gotta go sleep. And so these are some of the things that we face. One of the challenges too that we try to promote is the fact that we try to get persons to eat foods that are non-hybrid. Now, when we talk about foods that are, we try to get persons to not eat foods that are hybrid. When we talk about foods that are hybrid, we are talking about foods that have actually been manipulated by man. They have been genetically modified. I have named a couple of them for you, like the cassava, the carrots, you got the beans, you got soy with the inorganic silica, garlic. A lot of people, boy, the garlic is always a tough one. Because when you actually study the history of garlic was invented way back by I think it was done by the Egyptians, and they used to use the garlic for their environmental fluids. And that garlic has a tendency, why we are attracted to it, of lowering pressure levels. But the challenge with the garlic is it eats away the walls of the veins, the membranes of the walls of the veins. So persons end up with these calcareous veins, or they end up with these veins that are bloating. You ever see people with these bloating veins on their legs and different parts of their body? That's because of the membrane of the wall of that vein has been eaten up because of that high consumption of garlic. Matter of fact, if you were to take garlic and you were to squeeze the juice out of it and put it in a needle and inject it in your body in less than 60 seconds, you'd be dead. Dead. And so, like I said, a lot of the foods have been manipulated. I think a lot of the times too, a lot of it is actually information. And a lot of persons just don't know. Like I say, we try to help persons to understand the different foods that you're supposed to eat. We try to promote foods like the rye, the spelt, the kamut, the quinoa, the fondu. All of these are natural grains. And these grains grow by nature. They grow in the rainforest. A lot of stuff. When you eat good and your body is loaded with minerals, you actually have a tendency to look younger. I mean, it's just natural. I go in the States and they can't get nowhere and I make my head. I tell the guys, come on man, the science is 21 and 42. What's wrong with you? You know, they don't believe it sometimes. They get forged by and all that other stuff. But I mean, if you take care of your body will take care of it. And there is no way that you can actually think that you're getting away because it catches up with you. Because if you eat food and it doesn't have the mineral content and your body requires the mineral content, it robs it from somewhere else. It will take it from somewhere. So some place in that body is robbed. And what I tell people is, you have red and you have white blood cells. And when you eat food that is deficient in mineral content, you kill your red, you kill your white blood cells. Guess what happens? They recuperate back out of the bone marrow. But then your bone marrow designed to take you to a level of longevity, and you deplete it with the deficiency that you've been doing from your eating habits. So you think you're getting away, but you really ain't getting away. Why? Because that bone marrow that has those red blood cells is supposed to take you to 92. You finish it when you was 30 with all that Snicker and bamboo and all that stuff. Huh? Because why? When we eat food, we gotta feed it. Once it feed it, you know what I mean? And if you don't feed it, that wasn't, boy, that, you know, it was okay meal. That wasn't good. You know? So we have to remember that, you know, we can change every area of our lives just by only a decision. And everything that you need to move you to the next level is within you. 90% of change begins with a decision. And I always tell people, change is not change until you change. So don't tell me you change if you just change it. When you change, then you change. Because a lot of people say they change, but they ain't changed, they change it. And I always try to encourage persons that embrace change, right? It's the only constant in life. Things will always be changing. And in this age of technological advancement and with everything that's going on, we have to continue to stay on the cutting edge. Let me introduce a couple of the products and then we'll shut down. I think my time is winding down. The sea moss that we carry has 92 minerals inside it. The body is comprised of 102 minerals. Sea moss has 92 of those minerals. We find out that a lot of persons who just take the sea moss, they are fine. I mean, you could actually take the sea moss and just, that could be a breakfast meal. And we normally tell people, you take the sea moss a number of ways. You can take it, put it in your tea. You could take 3 ounces of it, 6 ounces of it, put it in your tea, it melts, and you can drink it, just drink it along with your tea. Some people take 6 ounces of it, they put it in their smoothie, they whip it up and they do it in their smoothie. My wife, she has a habit of taking 6 ounces of it. She puts it inside a blender. She puts almond milk inside it. She puts a little bit of banana. She put a little dash of cinnamon inside that. She put a pinch of agave, and then she puts some of the vanilla extract. Boom. And when she whips it up, the kids drink that. They say, "Oh, that tastes good. It tastes like milkshake." You know what I mean? So there's a number of ways how you can make it palatable even for your taste buds and even for your kids. Usually, you would find out that when you sea moss addresses the thyroid, blood passes through the thyroid every 4.5 minutes. So if you have any kind of inflammation in your body, acid reflux, joint pain, arthritis and stuff like that, sea moss goes straight away. Matter of fact, some people see results with the sea moss in 24 hours. We had persons who could walk, who could stand up, all this kind of joint pain and acid reflux and you know, all this stuff from aging and all that. One sea moss, and then the rest is it. Next, one of the next very, very popular products we have is called the healing tonic. The healing tonic is designed to clean the liver and the kidneys. Also, it's excellent for any kind of infection in the body. As you might know, the liver actually collects the poisons out of the blood. That's why whenever I come across people, they say, "Why I like liver?" And you can like that all the time.
It tastes good.
Oh, you can imagine an animal that has been infected with some kind of poison and it lodged in the liver, and you eat that and say, "Tastes good." The organ is designed just to collect the poisons out of the blood. That's it. Why do you think it's so black and it's so, you know what I mean?
I feel like water liquid is good.
Before you could cook it good.
It's like you saying I like poison. Yeah, so the healing tonic is designed to clean the liver. It also cleans the kidneys. It also has a property to reduce pressure levels. So, you know, we have people who actually cheat with the healing tonic too. You know, they would go eat macaroni and cheese right all weekend. Why do they drop 2 hours when they do they drop their healing tonic? I'm saying, "Bro, blood pressure 120. What you been doing?" Doc, I've been doing good. Doing good. How people? Or you would have some of them. Oh Lord, the medical doctor said you can't get no insurance with your guy. Our people. But we got something to have all of them. The other product we have is called the iron. It's called Iron Plus. When you study iron, you find out that iron is the only magnetic mineral on the planet. There are 2 forms of iron. There is iron phosphate and then iron fluorine. We stay away from the iron phosphate. That's the one that you always find in tablet form that you take too much in iron, you can't remember. That part of the iron is mixed with what they call iron ore, and they actually produce steel from it. So I try to figure out why do people want to drink this iron? I mean, they know it, but I guess they didn't know it better. What we produce is the iron fluorine, and it's actually from a plant. And that plant, that iron is also loaded with oxygen. And iron, if you find out, it's the only magnetic mineral on the planet. When iron is present in the body, all the other minerals are sitting there. When iron is there, it just attracts all the other minerals. When iron is lacking, the other minerals don't assimilate as if iron was present. Because iron acts like a magnet. The minute iron shows up, it acts for all the other minerals. And all those other minerals have to absorb at a level that the iron is actually demanding. So that's why our iron is very, very popular. We had persons come there, all their blood levels are low, and they can't do surgery in 6 months. Drink the iron, 3-4 weeks, blood levels drop down. Why? Because iron has the property to assimilate those minerals, cause the body to function on that level. The other tonic we have is it's called the female lioness, and this is one of those products that has actually caused me like a whole lot of babies. Because that tonic is designed just to clean out the uterus of the female, the whole lower uterus, so any blockages or any traces of fibroids and all that stuff. It just cleans out hot flashes and all that stuff, gone. And it actually acts as a hormonal balance. So it acts as a hormonal balance. A lot of women take it. I mean, if you have hot flashes or all that other stuff, or bad cycles, that's gone. Because it actually helps clean that whole area. And once that area is clean, that's it. And then I fall after that. You let a lot of babies, be trying to stay away. And of course, in the male, we have what they call the male thunderstrike. And that is really designed to, the whole know you the male. The male has a lot of ducts right in that area. When those ducts are blocked, then you can't function properly. So our job is just to make sure all those ducts are clear. Once blood flows, the guy is ready anytime. Our challenge with Viagra is, why we are against it, is Viagra actually forces blood in that area. The challenge is, if that area is blocked, then the blood comes back up. So depending on the level of blockage, then you got a lot of folks who take it. So our job is just to make sure that the area is clean. Once it's clean, you know the guy is ready. You don't have to worry with that. Another popular thing we have is called the nerve tonic. The nerve tonic is actually a relaxer. You got a lot of people who got this anxiety, who got this excitement and all that other stuff, and we have a lot of people who got insomnia. Can't sleep in the night and stuff like that. You drink that nerve tonic, it just relaxes the whole body. You got a child who jumping and jigging, just give a teaspoon of that nerve tonic. You know what I mean? It's calm right now. You know what I mean? Because ADH and all this funny stuff that these kids got. And you know, when you study these kids and all these anxiety and all this funny stuff, you know why they're getting it. Potato chips, you gain them Capri juice, you buying them these potato chips, and all day the kid eating jump. And we try to figure out,
Boy, learn, do good in school.
brain function. And he's angry. Why? Because the level of acidity that is built up into him, he can't think good. A lot of this stuff, like I tell you, a lot of this crime taking place, that's because these fellas are angry. The acid level so high they can kill. Boom! And they don't even know sometimes. When your body is alkaline, you stay calmness. You stay at peace. You know? And it's directly from minerals in our food. When you deprive your food of the minerals, you create all kinds of hormonal imbalances in your body. You get nervous, you get itchy, you get mad, you get all this stuff. And all this because you deprive the body of minerals. They are some of our basic products. We have a lot more. But I will wrap up here, and I hope you guys enjoyed the session. And if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.
One product you would recommend?
CMOS. And it's because of the high mineral content. Body is comprised of 150 minerals. CMOS has high minerals.
I can see, just like you said, when your body is full of nutrition and minerals, that tongue craving that we put our mind and practice, you don't even crave that no more. You feel the food. You know what I mean? You feel the live energy, and you be like, you know what, I'm not going back to their food anymore.
Some people work very fast, like in 2 to 3 hours.